I do apologise, everyone. That is my my LAN cable messing up again, as usual. Hasn't done that for a while in the middle of a session, but it's very frustrating. But anyway, we move. Tier sets the fastest lap for now with a 17.5. Yes, LAN cable, Rick, you're absolutely right. It is the same story as always. But anyway, take you briefly through the standings as Enchiladadad beats his teammate to P1 now. We've got a Ferrari coming across the line. That's Oliver G. Rapper, a newbie for today. He goes P8 for now, 1.8 down on pole position. As Rob Su comes across the line, I think he invalidated. We've got Alex just behind coming across the line, goes to P7, about a 10th down on his teammate Sumo as it stands. Mercedes 5 and 7 at the moment, but the Saubers are looking very good, and that's what they need for this Constructors battle. They really need a good race today to take the fight to McLaren, but Enchiladad and Tier both in this driver's title battles. Mania splits them up to P2 for the Alpine driver. That's a very nice effort from him. As Antone comes across for P10 on the medium tyres for some reason. Robsu coming through Sector 2 at the moment on his second attempt at a lap. And the Aston Martin driver from Finland this season hasn't quite gone the way he would have wanted it to go, but it's not been too bad for Robsu. Is he still not using? I wonder if he's still not using overtake in qualifying, or is he on an in lap? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening here with Robsu. Does he still not know you can use it in qualifying? Because if not, that's quite a development. But anyway, that might explain his lack of pace in quali. Yeah, he's going to the line, so here he goes, a 1:18.6. But is he aware? Rick, if you're watching, someone tell Robsu you can use overtake in qualifying, because he might not know. But anyway, Aces coming through as well. He's one of the ones in the championship fight. The top 6 drivers in the championship are Jacko, Aces, both level on points on 77, Extrarec on 74, Lawrence on 73, Enchiladadad on 72, and Tier on 67. So it's such a close battle. 10 points between the top 6 with 2 rounds to go. It's absolutely unbelievable. And Enchiladadad looking to put a foothold on it at the moment with a pole position time for now. But Aces versus Kings coming through the last couple corners now. The Haas driver who's only not leading this championship thanks to countback from Jack Alaco. He comes across the line, a 17.4. He goes to P2 onto the front row, just a 10th down on Enchiladadad. Primeval's back in the session, which is great to see. Thank goodness he was able to select the car eventually. And he is in his Williams, back on the grid after a few weeks off. Great to see him back, and he comes through the last couple corners, nearly invalidates there at the penultimate corner exit. Down towards the line for ZTX Primeval. And what's it going to be on his return? An 18.3, it's not bad at all. Very much up there with the pace of the lower midfield, so not bad at all from him. We've also got Drogon, but he's got no front left end plate, so he's going to come back into the pits. I'm not sure how that happened to the Italian, who's been suffering from a broken thumb the last few weeks. I don't know if that's fully healed or not yet, but he's into the pits for a front wing change after that. Who else on a lap? RJ Blair just starting a lap, currently sitting in P5. Lawrence needs a good lap as well. He's in Sector 1 right now. Primeval, he just did a lap not long ago. Robsu coming to the end of Sector 2. Is he on a lap? Let's find out. Yes, he is. 4.5 tenths up for the Finnish driver, so this is looking much, much better from... And by the way, these are 3-lap-old tyres, and he hasn't used overtake on any of these laps either, so this could be looking promising in terms of pace for Robsu today. And he's finally using the overtake button. There we go. Down towards the line he goes. DRS open. Across the line, a 17.8 puts him P7. That is much more like it for Robsu, and he'll be reasonably happy with that. Tier, a 10.5 down in Sector 1, so not really improving there. We've got Lawrence coming through the last couple corners, though. in his McLaren, the defending champion, looking to put a foothold on this championship that he looked out of for quite a while, but just last week he has come right back into it after that win in Belgium in those tricky conditions. He goes to P6, but RJ retakes pole position just behind, a 17.2 from the American driver, and knocks Enchiladadad off that top spot. We've got a Red Bull coming across the line. That's Anton about to start a lap. The Brazilian finally getting some soft tyres on, so we'll see how he does on those. Jackalacco improving as well. The Season 9 champion goes to P7, or Season 10 champion rather, goes to P7, just behind his teammate by 9 thousandths of a second. Very close, those two McLarens right now. But the Saubers are ahead of them, crucially. And Drogon needs to perform as well for Haas. Oh, just as I say that and right on board with him, he spins. But Haas are currently 23 points behind in the Constructors' title battle. Red Bull, no Quark today, so they will struggle to win this title. So it's all going to be McLaren, Sauber and Haas are the three teams to watch now, I believe. But only if Drogon can put in a shift today, because he really needs to. He has had that broken thumb injury for quite a while now, so it's not entirely his fault. In fact, pretty much not his fault at all, because he started this season just behind. What about Anton in the Red Bull coming across the line? Big improvement for the Brazilian, goes P6. Look how close this qualifying is. Less than half a second between the top 10 as Sumo jumps to P6. In the Mercedes, this is incredibly close. Tia, who was pole position not that long ago, is dropped to P8, and then Enchiladadad takes pole by 1 thousandth of a second in the Sauber. Wow, this qualifying is going to be absolutely crazy if it carries on like this. 6.5 minutes to go in the session. Drogon in P15 at the moment. He's done a 22.1 in Sector 1. He needs to set a lap time. Oh, gets a bit squirrely on the exit there, but easy to do around this circuit at that particular corner. Drogon now coming through Sector 2. And yeah, Robsu hasn't known that he can use overtaking quali all season long. I can confirm. That is crazy. No wonder he's been so far off the pace in quali compared to his race pace. But anyway, Drogon coming through now into the final sector comes the Italian. And what sort of time is he going to set here? Through the last couple of corners he goes. And he's going to come down to the DRS zone to finish off his lap. Doesn't invalidate on the exit. Nicely done from Drogon. Here we go. What's it going to be? Cross the line, a 17.7. Identical time to Jacko. He goes P11 for now, but he's on the pace, and that's what Haas need. But with how close this qualifying has been so far, he could be anywhere on this grid come the end of this session. We've got Oliver G. Rapper and Jonathan going out for his first run as well. I think he invalidated his first attempt. I'm just going to repost the stream in the chat, in the Discord, because obviously we had to switch streams. Thanks to my LAN cable. Thank you for that, PlayStation. Good to know. Oh, Rick. Rick has posted it already. Thank you, Rick. I do appreciate that. But anyway, Alex says stop the count. He's happy with P3, but we shall see. Jonathan, the Irishman, who had a decent result last time out, is his return to APPF1. Has not been without its problems so far this season. Of course, the champion of Season 8 after that 4-car battle in the final race of the season to decide the title. Jonathan goes very wide, though, at turn number, I believe, turn 9 or turn 10. Maybe even turn 11, something like that. Anyway, he comes around and he just about lifted off enough to not get invalidated, but it would have cost him some time. Down into the last couple corners comes Jonathan now. RJ on a lap 2, so we'll keep an eye on that. But the Irishman to the line. It's looking pretty decent. A 17.5. It's on the pace, but this grid is unbelievable. The top 12 within 0.5 of a second less than. Tier comes across the line. Half a tenth from pole, but he's P3. RJ is 0.4 up, though, and he's looking to destroy the rest of this grid today. Through the final sector, he just needs to nail these last 2 corners and he will have a very dominant pole position at this stage of qualifying. He's currently down by 1,000th of a second, but I think he's going to be a lot further up once this lap is complete. A 16.8. That is looking unstoppable at this point, given how close everyone else is. And wow, that is one heck of a statement from the American, who's looking for, I believe, his 3rd pole position of the season. And wow, what a pole it would be to get it by 0.4 when everyone else is so close right now. Primeval says fantastic lap. I am inclined to agree, but just look at how this grid has evolved. Robsu and Primeval, who are looking decent lower midfield, are now down to 14th and 15th, but they're not that far off. They're only 0.3 off, gaining 5-6 positions. So it's all in the balance this qualifying session. Aces coming into sector 1. He needs to find a time, and well, he's been very good at finding times late in qualifying sessions so far this season. He's going to get a nice little toe off his teammate there. That'll have gained him some time. A 10th up in sector 1 for the British driver, who's gunning for his first ever APPF1 driver's title. He comes into Sector 2, and that is despite, by the way, being here from pretty much the very beginning. Aces is one of the all-time veterans of the league. We're here in Season 13 of APPF1. He's never won a driver's title, which is crazy to think about. He was something like 2 or 3 points away from winning Season 2 of Tier 1, but Ace is a little bit squirrely there. That'll have cost him plenty of time into that left-hander. Just locks the rears on under braking, and he's already switched off his ERS, and that is lap over for him. So he'll be disappointed. Extrarec, surprisingly low right now. He needs to find down in 13th place. The man who was leading this championship by quite a distance not all that long ago. There's a Ferrari just in front of him. Who is that? It was Oliver G. Rapper. He gets out the way just in time, but Extract might feel he was distracted there. There could be a report coming the way of the newbie. RJ retires in the pit lane. He can't do any more, so that is the benchmark, a 16.8. Can anyone do anything about that? Extrek into Sector 2, or the end of Sector 2, around this corner, just about avoids invalidating. He's only 0.2 up. It would promote him to P9 as it stands, but it's still a long way off where we usually are used to seeing him this season. Not a fan of Portugal, perhaps, as he comes into the last couple of corners, but then who is? Who is a fan of Portugal in these F1 games? Extrek, though, through the final corner, and to the line for the Williams driver, and that's much better. He improves big time in the final sector, and it's P4, but where will he be at the end? That's the question. There's the 2 Mercedes coming across the line, or sorry, one of the Saubers. They're all on outlap, so who's next to finish a lap? It's going to be, I believe, Drogon coming across the line. What's it for him? It looks like a big improvement. It is P5 for Drogon. Huge for Haas, for the Haas team there. Big lap from Drogon. Aces can't improve, so a disaster for him, but he does have 15 seconds left, so he can go one more time, but he's not going to have a lot of ERS to do it. Jackalacco across the line. Lawrence and Jacko just starting laps just in time before the end of the session. Robsu into the pits, no improvement for the Finn, but Primeval coming to the line now. Mania can't improve, Primeval can't improve either, so who's next? It's going to be Sumo Gilligan, I reckon. 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector. This could be huge for Sumo. could put him up to P2 if he nails this final sector, and he has, but it's not quite P2. P3 for Sumo at the line, but where's it going to be at the end? Extrek, no improvement. He's on an in-lap. Jonathan coming through. Oliver G. Rapper's going to be next, but he's invalidated. Who is next? Is it the other Mercedes? Yes, it is. Alex, but he's not improving in the middle sector. Where is Tier? Just behind, slightly improving. Enchiladad improving is not going to be enough for pole, but it could be enough to solidify P2. A 10th.5 improvement. That is a huge lap time to find at this stage. Drogon peels off. Where's Aces? 3.5 tenths up. He could snatch the front row here. Aces across the line. Is it enough? No, it's P3 for him, but it's still pretty decent at this stage. Tier across the line as well. Doesn't improve, and it's just the two McLarens now. Lawrence across the line, only P10 for the two-time Tier 2 champion. What about his teammate, the championship leader, Jack Alacco, across the line? It's no improvement for the Scottish driver, and the championship leader will start this race in 13th on the grid. What a qualifying session that was. Absolutely unbelievable. We've got just over 4 tenths between 3rd and 13th. It is crazy close in that middle of the pack. We've got less than, just over half a tenth between 7th and 11th. That's 5 drivers. And wow, Alex and Lawrence within 1,000th of a second of each other. What a qualifying session. This is going to be quite the race in Tier 2 with championships on the line. So there we go, it's RJ who takes his 3rd pole position of the season. Enchiladad takes P2, a crucial qualifying for him. He needs to convert it now. Aces in 3rd as well, decent for him too. Sumo in 4th, Mania P5, Tier in P6, he's up there too. Good qualifying for Sauber and for Haas. Extract P7, Drogon P8, and then it's Alex, Lawrence, Jonathan Antone, championship leader Jacko, and Robsu, Primeval, and Oliver G. Rapper making up the rest of the grid. Hello to Quark in the chat. It's a shame you couldn't make the race today, but the championship is well and truly back on for both Sauber and Enchilada himself. This is going to be an absolutely breakneck race. Rick showing support for RJ in the chat. Quark showing support for Enchilada. Do we have any support for any of our other championship protagonists? I am not sure, but certainly I'm sure Enchilada will feel motivated. He's up there on the front row. It's a big qualifying lap for him. Rick says no more love for any of the other protagonists. Yeah, Enchilada, he's had a great season so far. He had one DNF to start the season, and it looked very bleak when he missed Suzuka the week after as well. But since then, 4th, 3rd, 9th, 2nd, 3rd, 7th, it's just been steadily consistent since then. And that's really all anyone has needed in this championship this season in Tier 2, because everyone's been so inconsistent, and that is why it's so close, because no one has been able to pull away. Every time someone looks like they're about to pull away, they have a bad couple of weeks, and suddenly it's wide open again, and that's happened time and time again as the season has worn on. So we'll see if anyone can take a lead going into the last race of the season in Silverstone next week. But as we head off the line for the formation lap, absolutely, Rick. Enchiladad is my goat, says Quark. RJ will unalive himself. Well, we shall see. Mark my words, he says. Well, Quark gunning for my spot in the podcast prediction championship, by the sounds of it, as we go off the line. RJ, Enchilada and Aces all starting on the softs alongside Extrek and Drogon. Everyone else on the mediums except for Primeval, who started on the hard tyres. I think that's probably going to be a mistake for him, but given everyone else's choice. Excuse me, but we shall see. I'm so looking forward to this. What a race this is going to be. All right, let's keep an eye on the tyres then, as we're about to get started after this formation lap. Quick look at helmets. Default, default, default. We already reviewed Sumos and Manias. Default, default. Already reviewed that one. Any new ones on the grid? No, they're all the same. Okay. No new helmets to review, so we'll just wait for this formation lap to come to a close, and then the race will begin after the 5 lights go out. 6 drivers, 1 title, and 3 teams as well. 6 drivers, 3 teams, 1 title. 2 rounds to go. This is one of them. I cannot wait for this. Someone's span in the background. It was Sumo. He won't be happy I caught that on stream. But he's going to get back to his grid slot, no problem. Who is leading? Jacko on 77, Palang, and then Ace is also on 77. And then Extrek on 74, Lawrence 73, Enchilada 72, Tier 67. That's the top 6. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's a good start from Enchilada from P2, but better for RJ. He leads the race into turn 1. We've got 4 wide further back as they all try to pile through. Somehow they've all gotten through, but I think Tier has spun. Yes, he has. He got squeezed out at turn 1. And he's down to the back of the grid. It's chaos further back as everyone tries to filter in. The championship's on the line. What a start for Lawrence, as per usual. He's up to P7 already as Sumo down the inside of Extrek, who's also had an amazing start in the Williams. He's up to P4 now as he sweeps around the outside of Sumo. They come down towards the next couple of corners. Extrek still ahead, but they're still side by side, and Sumo now, his turn to sweep round the outside, but he can't quite do it. He has to stay behind. The top 3 have gained a bit of time on the cars behind thanks to all this battling. Sumo again tries to go around the outside, and he's going to be helped here by his teammate. They're going to double team this Williams to try and get past again. Oliver G. Rapper up to P11 as well. Good start for the Ferrari, the rookie in the Ferrari. As the top 3 streak away, Enchilada, RJ and Aces, the top 3 from Extrek, 1.5 seconds down. Those soft tyres have worked out well for the top 4, but Drogon, it hasn't worked out well for him at all. Position changes, great start for Antone as well. Lawrence up 2, Jonathan up 2, Alex and Extrek up 3 as well. But Oliver G. Rapper and Antone with the best starts so far in this race. Drogon into the pits, presumably for damage, as Prime Evil makes a move on Jack Alako for P12. The championship leader is not having a good start to this race. He tries to go back down the inside for the next corner, and he's going to make it work, but it's going to be 3 wide for turn 3. Can they get through? Yes, they can. Primeval back ahead, and 1.8 seconds for the rest of the pack. This is a disastrous start for Jack Alako, the championship leader. He's down to 14th place and doesn't look like he's moving up anytime soon, thanks to that gap between Primeval and Oliver. Meanwhile, Extrek now still 1.8 behind the top 3, who are streaking away very happily, but the fighting continues. Antone up another position to P6. What a start for the Brazilian, who had P4 last time out, had his first podium in APP cruelly taken away with a track limits penalty in Spa last week on the final lap, but he's looking to do one better today, as we'll get tyres back on screen. The top 4 on soft tyres, and then mediums all the way down to 11th. Primeval on hards, who's been passed by Tier in the meantime for P12. Tier trying to get his way on the move as Enchilada takes the lead. The other Sauber into P1, past RJ, down towards turn 1. No problem there for the Irish driver, and he's looking to put an iron grip on this championship going into the last race. But Aces is right there with them as well. Aces looking for a better race than he had in Elite on Sunday last week. Just spun it on the penultimate lap of Belgium when he was looking at a possible podium, but he's looking for a podium here in Tier 2 instead. Anton with another move past Sumo to P5 now as the Brazilian, and we've got another spin for Tier. He's down to 15th again, and he's got a huge amount of work to do now in that Sauber, and you have to feel his championship chances are starting to slip away. It is still early in this race, but if it ends like this, Tia is going to have a huge amount of work to do, and if not, it's going to be impossible, actually. He might be mathematically out of the championship if it ends like this, because Enchilada's leading. But anyway, Tia with a lot of work to do, but this tends to happen to Tia towards the ends of seasons, I find. He just tends to lose out a bit in the last couple races, even though he was in contention for the rest of the season, as Sumo looks to the outside of Anton. Very risky from the Mercedes driver. Lawrence going to the inside of his old rival, but he's got Alex for company. He's being tag-teamed by the two Mercedes, is the reigning champion in P7, but he's done well to stay within that sandwich for now, but they still go through to the next corner. Alex again looking to the inside, but Jonathan is going to smell blood here as Alex loses the rear on the exit. Can Jonathan ghost his way through? Not quite, but Alex has got to be very, very careful to avoid those sorts of spins, as we've got Lawrence trying to make his way past Sumo. They go wheel to wheel, these two who've been rivals for so long in APPF1. Lawrence to the inside. It's been a one-sided rivalry for the longest time, but finally they're going wheel to wheel legitimately in a race this season, and once again today, Lawrence up ahead for now, but Sumo is going to be hungry to get back past that McLaren, as the other McLaren of Jacko makes up a place past Oliver G. Rapper for P11, but he's 3.5 seconds down on the rest of the pack, and a big mistake on the exit could leave him vulnerable to turn 1, and the championship leader, it needs a miracle at the moment. Extrek being passed by Anton, another overtake for the Brazilian. He's up to P4, nothing Extrek can do about that, and the former championship leader from Norway down to 5th place and under pressure from the defending champion Lawrence. Remember, the six championship protagonists are Enchilada Dad, Aces, Lawrence, Extrek, Tia and Jacko. So those are the drivers to keep a main eye on, as Alex and Jonathan now go wheel to wheel again. Oh, there's contact. Alex gets a bit squirrely on the exit. Sumo is disconnected. Hopefully he can get back in soon, but Jonathan gets clipped after Alex has another snap of oversteer at the same corner, and this time doesn't get so lucky into the barrier and no front left end plate. He's going to be gutted about that. That is so undeserved, and through turn 8 he goes. He is not going to be a happy man in that cockpit. Sumo wants an invite. I will send you one pronto, mate. Let me get you in. Sumo Gilligan, there we go. Sent you one. But we continue on. Mania getting past the stricken Mercedes, who's hopefully going to get his way back in soon enough. He's already back in the session, so hopefully he can rejoin his car pretty soon. Oliver G. Rapper, the first track limits penalty of the day. It won't be the last, as Extrek makes his way back past Anton for P4, as these three now have separated themselves from everyone ahead and behind. 4 seconds to the top three, 3 seconds to the cars behind, as Sumo back in the session. But yeah, Quark is right. Sumo fighting Extrek has really opened time as Anton tries to make the move again. This driver, who's had a horrible start to the season, is really finding his groove late on in season 12. 4th place last time out, nearly got a podium, and here he's looking for a similarly strong result. And, well, he's carrying Red Bull on his own at the moment with Quark in the chat, but Aces makes a move now past RJ, and look at the gap to the front. There must have been a mistake. Oh, no, it's lag. Okay, never mind. RJ lagging a bit, but even so, even with the lag, look at the gap. 1.1 seconds now. It's all shaken out. Does he have DRS? No, he doesn't. Oh, but more lag again for RJ. Aces doesn't know where on earth he is. This is very tricky as a driver when someone's lagging this badly. RJ back down to P3, but will he lag in front again? Probably. I'm not sure. There's further overtakes going on down the grid. Alex into the pit lane for presumably a new front wing, following Jonathan's lead. He's also got himself a new front wing. They'll be hoping for a safety car, as will Drogon, and probably Primeval as well, because I think he's chosen the wrong strategy here, but we shall see. Lawrence now putting pressure on the Red Bull of Antone. They go wheel to wheel on the exit here, but no cigar for the defending champ. He has to sit behind once again, but these three are going to continue battling. They could invite Mania into this battle. Mania 1.7, 1.6, 1.7 behind. It's very, very close as RJ and Aces swap again, but it's again RJ lagging big time. This must be really hard for Aces to deal with. It's not much you can do in this situation, really. Network just ain't having it today. Yeah, it does seem like it. There's a lot of lag going on, and RJ is very glitched. His interval on the timing on the left is very bugged. But anyway, Tyr making another move up to P11 as he continues his second attempt at a fight back in this race. His first attempt ended in another spin, but now he's into the pits. An early stop for Tyr, presumably the hards to the end for the British driver as he hopes for a safety car. My stream is also cutting out. What on earth is going on? What on earth is going on today? I wonder if it's a PlayStation issue. But anyway, Antone and Extract wheel to wheel again into the next corner as Robsu and Sumo go side by side as well. But Extract gets passed once again by the Brazilian. Antone back up to P4, but it's now 5 seconds to the top three who are stretching their legs in this Grand Prix. Lawrence with very squirrely out of turn 8. Could be under pressure from Mania, who has indeed joined the party. He's looking pretty quick in that Alpine today, and he'll be hoping for perhaps a top 4 finish or better, as once again Tyr losing time, or actually, no, he's gotten ahead of Drogon, so after that pit stop, he's back ahead. But Lawrence and Extract now going wheel to wheel for P5. There's so much action going on, it's hard to tell who is where at this point. It's certainly a bit laggier than usual, so I do apologise, everyone. I don't know why this is happening, especially for such an important race. It's frustrating, but there we go. You're going to make do with what we've got. Extract to the outside of Antone, who leaves him just enough room, but doesn't leave him room on the exit of turn 1. Extract's not going to be happy about that, but Antone stays ahead for now as the Williams driver has to stay behind, but he's going to be looking for that overtake at some point, but he's got very little ERS left in the tank. Antone's got plenty left, as does Lawrence and Mania, so Extract with the big disadvantage for ERS in this little train. But he also does have the soft tyres on, which he could be struggling with. Robsu and Sumo once again battling for P8. Sumo on the exit, much better traction, and sweeps around the outside of turn 7. Robsu tries to keep his foot on the inside of 8, but it's so tricky on the exit there. Sumo stays ahead, and Robsu has to slot in behind eventually. Is he going to go for a move at the next corner? Not quite. Tries to get a better exit, but I don't think there's a way to go through there, especially this battle as well. Jackalacko looking to get his way back into the top 8. We've got another spinner. I believe that is Jonathan at the back. We had yellow flags for. And his race not turning out well at all at the moment, I'm afraid to say. And, well, it didn't start off well with his contact with Alex earlier, but now it's just going from bad to worse. He desperately needs a safety car. As meanwhile, Lawrence gets his way past Extract, who is surely now beginning to struggle on those soft tyres. The top 3 seem okay, but Extract's had all this battling to do, which will have worn out his tyres a little bit more than those top 3, and now he's got more to do. Mania looks to the inside. Extract covers him off. I don't know if Mania will feel aggrieved by that particular move, but anyway, Robsu and Sumo once again go do battle at this hairpin. Jackalacko up there as well, but has to back out as those two once again. I don't know if they made contact, but they were very, very close. as they went through there. Primeval now could be joining into this battle. Jack needs to take advantage, absolutely, Rick. He really, really does. He needs something to happen in this race now to get himself back into this. He usually comes alive later in races, and he's very, very good at picking up the pieces when things go wrong. And in a championship as close as this, that is a very, very important quality. But at the moment, he is too far down the grid for his liking, and this could turn into a damage control race for him. As Lawrence, once again, doing battle with Antone. X-Trek up there as well, just ahead of Mania, but no overtakes being made at this point, as Sumo, though, gets down the inside of Robsu for turn 1 and makes that move back up to P8. These two swapping positions once again, but Robsu's going to get the DRS at the next section, and there's a bit of contact, as I don't know if Sumo lost the rears first or if Robsu tapped him, but Jacalaco's getting involved. It's going to be 3 wide down towards turn 5. Is it going to be Jacko making a double overtake? Yes, it is. The championship leader gets back up to P8. What a move from Jacko, takes full advantage. Robsu and Sumo contact once again between these two, and Sumo down, well, stays P9, but he's got a different car ahead of him now, and these two are going to struggle to stay with Jacko if Jacko does have this pace that he's going to now go after the cars ahead with. X-Trek has lost touch with the two ahead, and that gap to the top 3 is coming down a little bit as well. 5.7. It was over 6 seconds just last lap, so it is coming down. Those soft tyres beginning to take their toll, perhaps, as Enchilada still leads, but RJ is under pressure from Aces now into turn 1. Aces backs out of it, though, stops using that overtake button, and remains in 3rd place. No need to go for a risky move at this point, but here comes RJ going for a risky move just as I say that into turn 2. They still go wheel to wheel through 3. RJ all the way around the outside somehow keeps the car planted to the circuit, and Enchilada that's going to have to back out of that. RJ back into the lead of the race he started from pole, and Enchilada just has to sit back and clap that one. There's nothing he can do about a move like that, as Lawrence gets his way past Antone, and Extra X still staying ahead of Mania for now, but those softs definitely starting to come unstuck now. They've got to think about pitting pretty soon, I would have thought. Lawrence a little bit squirrely out of 8, but he keeps it going. But now it's 5 seconds to the top 3, and it continues to come down that gap, and we could be talking about a top 7 later in this race if they can catch back up. Mania's in this too, but X-Trek surely has to stop soon and hope for that undercut on the hard tyres. Are the top 3 coming into the pits? RJ, yes, both of the top 2 in, but Aces stays out for 1 more lap. He's happy to go out in clear air and try and hope for an overcut here, but those two, RJ and Enchilada, in. Where are they going to come out? That's the question. RJ comes in for the hard tyres, I assume, the medium tyres actually. Medium tyres for RJ. Enchilada also medium, so I guess the mediums last quite a while on this circuit perhaps, or maybe they're going for a 2-stop, I am not sure, but they come out in not so clean air actually. They're just behind Oliver, who they will catch very quickly, who's got himself another track limits penalty by the way. 3 seconds is the gap, but that'll come down very fast. These two much faster than that Ferrari today, and they could end up in a spot of bother when they do catch up to him. Here now with a 3-second time penalty as well down there in P13. It's Aces who leads by 4 seconds. It hasn't come down that gap actually all that much, if at all. Still 4.1 now as they go through into the final sector. Surely Aces will come in this lap, but where's he going to come out in relation to RJ, who has caught Oliver by 8/10 already on this lap? And well, Ace has got a big decision to make here. Does he come in? Yes, he does. The joint championship leader into the pits doesn't get a speeding penalty. Was very careful not to do so, I think. Slowed down a little bit more than he had to, but just didn't want a penalty. And, well, it could cost him here. He's coming into the pits now. Where's he going to exit? It's going to be medium tyres, as with the other two. But where's he coming out here? Oliver G. Rapper with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But where's RJ? Where is the Haas? He's just coming out the pits and Ace is behind them. But Enchilada around the outside of RJ for turn 1. RJ leaves in the room and there's damage. There's damage to the American's car. He's got no front left end plate on that Aston Martin. And that is going to be a big struggle for him. I've no idea how that happened. Perhaps it was something to do with Oliver. Perhaps they caught him up and he braked earlier than expected. I'm not sure. I was watching the gap to Aces, who is now 1.8 behind. It's a huge undercut for these two, and Aces needs to fight now to stay within range. I don't think that damage is going to hurt RJ too much. It might hurt him through like turn 3. Turn 3 and 4, perhaps he could lose a bit of performance there. The high speed corners and the ones where you have to get the traction down early, but otherwise he's gonna, I think he'll be just about okay. But yeah, that's going to be a big struggle for him as Ace is 2.1 behind. Lawrence and Antone now lead this race with Mania just behind, and they're going to go long on these tyres by the looks of things. I think those mediums go a long way. These drivers have worked that out, and ones who started on softs might have the right idea with that massive undercut they got. We saw that the softs were quicker in the first stint, but not by too much. Remember, Sumo and Extract lost all their time from battling to the top 3, so it could well be that those softs aren't going to deliver the performance that these guys need them to in the second stint. But who knows? It's still early days in this race. We're only just under halfway through. There's still time for a safety car to shake things up. So who knows, as Jacko now finds himself in the top 4, some 7 seconds behind. Another time penalty for Oliver G. Rapper. He's having a tough debut in that Ferrari, but it is a tough track to debut on. Portugal. Very, very tricky. So hopefully he can have a better time of it in the season finale in Silverstone next week. Jonathan now, the other Ferrari, with a time penalty as well. And yeah, he has not had a good week either. Drogon as well, desperately hoping for a safety car down there in P16 for now. Alex G, just behind his teammate, the two Mercs working together at this juncture. As they try and catch up as much as they can on those who have yet to stop. These two on the hard tyres, but we saw how poor the hard tyres were for people like Prime Evil in the first stint, who started on those tyres. But look at this, Enchilada has caught up to Prime Evil and set the fastest lap while doing it. So he needs to clear this Williams quickly. He comes through turn 4 now, needs to get some good traction here, but I don't think he's close enough to make the move into turn 5. RJ's just about stayed with him, but look at the gap to Aces, 3.9 now for Aces versus Kings. And he has really lost out. Just one more lap that he stayed out, and it's cost him big time by the looks of things. But this could be his break. Enchilada stuck behind the Williams of Prime Evil. He needs to make this move. He gets the traction on the exit, but can he make the move through the next corner? It's going to be tight. He doesn't want to go send it through there. That's very, very risky indeed, and he has to stay behind again. This could definitely be the break that Aces needs. Look at this time come down, 3.8 now, but it's still not enough. There's still, again, down the inside for Enchilada. He's desperate to get past this Williams. RJ trying to take advantage as well, but all of this is allowing Aces to catch up. Mania into the pits in the meantime, surely medium to hard for him, but through they go through the final corner, and Enchilada has to slow down. Here they go down towards turn 1. Where's Enchilada going? He's to the inside. RJ's there as well. Where's Prime Evil? RJ making his way past. Can he get past Prime Evil as well? 2 in 1 to turn 1. No, he can't. Prime Evil staying ahead and having a big impact on this race lead, or the net race lead. RJ can't get past still, and neither can Enchilada behind, and Aces is closing and closing the longer they stay behind this Williams. Prime Evil, he's free to race them. You know, they're not technically really in his race because he's yet to stop, but he's perfectly free to race them. He doesn't have to let them through. RJ and Enchilada are going to have to find their way past this Williams, because I don't think Prime Evil is willing to let them go here. He wants to help his teammate. I think that's the main motivation here. Prime Evil, again, just leaves enough room for RJ, who made a risky move there. RJ backs out, tries to get the switch back on the exit of the next corner. Again, they go wheel to wheel, but RJ on the outside gets cut off on the approach to the next corner, and this is really helping Aces catch up, and it could be helping his teammate as well. Extrek 7 seconds down the road, but the longer Primeval can keep these guys held up, the further he will catch up. And he's doing a great job of it right now, really doing a Sergio Perez out there, is this Williams driver. Antone now gets a track limits warning as Jacko comes into the pit, but here comes RJ down the inside of the Williams, but Enchilada makes it 3 wide. They both get past, but Enchilada gets through. What an overtake from the Irishman, and he's back up into the net race lead, but Primeval once again to the inside of RJ, desperately trying to help out his teammate here, but RJ on the inside for the next corner. There's contact and they're round. Primeval into the wall. RJ just about survives without going into the wall, but Primeval into that barrier, and well, he's done a service to his teammate, but at what cost, you have to say. Aces is now back in this battle. He's just 8/10 behind RJ now. RJ's going to be absolutely furious with Primeval, but all he was doing was trying to help out his teammate. RJ's going to be thinking, why on earth were you holding me up so much, given that you were yet to stop? But Primeval, he's helping his teammate. He's trying to do a Sergio Perez here, so, you know, he's free to race them, and it's ended in disaster for the Williams, but RJ's lost a ton of time thanks to that, and Enchilada now in prime position here, 2.3 seconds ahead of the duo behind, but Ace is now in DRS of RJ, so he could use this opportunity to drag both of these cars back up to where Enchilada is. Enchilada is 2.2 seconds up the road. Lawrence came into the pits, by the way. It wasn't Jacko, it was Lawrence, the other McLaren. He's down to P7 now after coming out the pits. 7 seconds down on Aces, but just ahead of Extrek, who is on those medium tyres, and he's going to have a lot better performance than this McLaren. I do wonder, are these mediums going to go to the end? Are they looking for a 2-stop here, perhaps, those who've stopped already? I'm not sure for those mediums. And if they are looking at a 2-stop, then this race is going to get very interesting indeed. But if it's just that they think the mediums will make it, well, it's 14 more laps, so they're going to have to go some 20 laps, and well, the top 3 have gone 18 so far, so they will do it. The mediums will make it, but in what condition? That's the big question, because Enchilada has already caught up to Robsu now, some 0.7 seconds behind the Aston Martin. He's going to have the DRS, and this is going to allow him to gain even more time on RJ and Aces, who's now pressuring the Aston Martin driver as they head towards turn 1. Enchilada down the inside he goes. He's got no ERS left, but he doesn't need it by the looks of it. Robsu happy to let him go, and Enchilada up to P3, and Aces gets past RJ into 5th place as well. Robsu back down the inside though at turn 3. He's not willing to let it go that easily, but I think Enchilada should have the better grip here and get his way past, but no, it's DRS for Robsu. It's no ERS left for Enchilada, and Robsu down the inside trying to help his own teammate as well. There's the Finnish driver. A lot of teamwork going on in this Portuguese Grand Prix, but he can't quite get it done. He looks to the inside but doesn't get the grip he needed on the exit. It has allowed the 2 behind to catch up a little bit, but not all that much, it has to be said. 2.5 seconds now is the gap, and Enchilada will now once again stretch his legs 3 seconds up the road to Jacko, and he's going to be feeling pretty comfortable in that Sauber right now, and could be on to take the championship lead after this race. But Aces is up there as well. I don't know what the point situation is. I can't remember the difference between the two, but it's going to be mighty close if it ends like this going into the last race of the season next week. What other battles are going on? Lawrence and Extrek for P7. Lawrence struggling on those hard tyres at the moment, but Extrek on 7-lap-old mediums. They're not perfect. He comes down towards turn 1 now. The top 2 stay out again, so they are going medium to soft, I reckon. They're going to stay out as long as they can. Aces and RJ now going wheel to wheel again. RJ on the inside, and RJ, I think, just kind of, Aces didn't have much place to go there, but he lets RJ back through, and RJ back up to P5, but Aces is going to be right behind that Aston Martin and trying to make this move stick. He doesn't have to, thanks to the penalty on that Aston Martin, but you can never take anything for granted in this sport. RJ could get that removed in the stewards later on, so Aces can't take it at face value. He's got to get ahead on track just in case. At least I'm sure that will be his thinking as we head into lap 22 at the end of this one. Still no DNFs from this race, by the way. Good job, Tier 2. There have been some incidents, don't get me wrong, but no DNFs yet, and certainly no safety cars. So it's a good job from Tier 2 so far. The racing in Tier 2 has been fantastic the last few weeks, I have to say, especially last week in Belgium. So clean all the way through. The top two, though, finally into the pits, and Enchilada Dad is free. He leads this race now by a long way. 3 seconds to Robsu, and then another 1.8 to RJ just behind. So he leads by 5 seconds, does the Sauber driver from Ireland, and he is looking very comfortable now. Anton and Jacko exit the pits on the soft tyre. Anton in P8, and he's going to be challenging those cars ahead, especially those on the hards. Mania and Lawrence have got to watch out here, and as Extrarec as well, and possibly Aces, but I think Aces will be just about safe here. So Anton could be in with a shot of P4 once again for the second week in a row if he can use these softs to their full effect. So he's got a lot of work to do, especially with that penalty that he's got. But you know, there's plenty of opportunity for the Brazilian in this race, and he's having another good week after his return in fortunes in Belgium. Aces now just behind RJ still, trying to make this move stick, but not giving it too much. He doesn't want to cause an incident here, but now Robsu is coming into range of these two, the only car yet to stop in this Grand Prix, and he stays out for another lap. He's looking to try and help his teammate perhaps before he comes into the pits. And Aces not able to make the move again on RJ. And surely Robsu is going to let his teammate through and then try and hold Aces up. So much teamwork going on in this Grand Prix. With Jacko now getting past Tier, who comes into the pits on those hard tyres. I expect it'll be softs to the end for the Sauber driver, but his championship dreams are slipping away with this poor performance today. He got unlucky at turn 1, of course, don't get me wrong. It was a 3 wide squeeze, I believe, and he just got caught on the wrong end of it. He's down to 13th as he exits the pits. Prime Evil, interestingly, setting the fastest lap on those 4-lap old mediums. That's quite a surprise, actually. He's flying in that Williams at the moment. But doing the best he can right now. Extrarec, meanwhile, in the mix between him and Lawrence for what will be a net P4 once Robsu comes into the pits. And Extrarec is going to want it because he's in this title battle as well, as is Lawrence. Lawrence, Extrarec, Aces and Enchilada Dad, all in the net top 5 in this Grand Prix. This is fantastic stuff for this championship as RJ predictably gets clean past his teammate and Robsu slots in between the two, and it's going to be Aston Martin teamwork here as Robsu tries to gain a little bit of a gap for his American teammate. Through turn 4, Aces has to make this move, but he's not going to be able to that easily. DRS for the Finnish driver, of course. Down towards turn 5, Aces nearly into the back of him, but just about gets away with it as Tier clears Oliver G. Rapper further back for P12. We've got yellow flags. I think that's Jonathan losing it again, perhaps. Maybe it was Drogon. I'm not sure. It was somewhere in Sector 3 that something happened. Perhaps some damage between Oliver and Prime Evil. I'm not sure. But anyway, Aces still just behind Robsu, and this is a fantastic job so far from Robsu to try and help out his teammate. Big Sergio Perez vibes here for the second time this race. We've got another Sergio Perez wannabe, and Robsu doing a good job of it so far, but he needs to hold up Aces more than this. He needs to have the DRS here though, and he's not going to get it. He's too far behind RJ, and I think this defense is going to come to a swift end. Aces is going to have the DRS. I think he was behind at the line, and Robsu comes straight into the pits as a response. and penalties for Jonathan and Primeval further back as Robsu into the pits and is going to drop a bunch of positions. He'll be onto the soft tyres. Where's he going to exit the pits here? There's yellow flags further back once again. Who is that for? It's for these three, and it's Jonathan who's got damage again for the second time this race. Primeval, I think he's got damage as well to his Williams. No, actually, no damage to him, but I have no idea what's happening between these three. They're fighting tooth and nail for P14. Primeval down the inside here as they go through the penultimate corner. Primeval again at the inside of the final corner. These three fight, giving it a good go for P14 here. Why not? When you're this far down, you might as well take your battles when you can have them. Robsu and Sumo swapping places as Robsu gets his way past. Those two once again locked together, but I think Robsu should be able to steer clear now with those fresh soft tyres. Primeval down the inside of Drogon for turn 3. Drogon leaves him room and in fact backs out before turn 4. Brakes for that corner. He is not willing to go side by side through turn 4, and Primeval up to 15th place. It's only points for the top 15, remember, in APPF1, so whoever loses out in this battle is going to lose points, and well, Drogon's got 13 seconds of penalty, so he's the one that would lose out right now. Jonathan Primeval. Let's check the penalties while we've got a bit of downtime. 3 seconds to RJ, 3 seconds to Antone and to Tyr as well further back. 6 to Sumo, Jonathan and Primeval. 22 to Oliver G. Rapper, who could be the one who loses out on points here. And Drogon on 13 seconds. So there you have it. An interesting penalty situation, but the main ones to keep an eye on are 3 seconds to RJ and 3 seconds to Antone in those top pack. As Jonathan Primeval swap again for 14th place. I think that battle's going to go on quite a while, so we'll cut back to it a few times. We'll cut back to it right now. Here we go. Jonathan to the inside of turn 1 of the Williams. He's going to make this move stick, I think, although Primeval tries to keep it hung around the outside, and a bit of contact as a result. Drogon as well into the back of him. Primeval, another dive bomb into turn 3. He's very, very happy to go for the inside at that corner this race so far, and once again, they go wheel to wheel. 6 seconds to both these two drivers, remember, so this is for position, and again they make contact. Primeval and Jonathan, again, big battle going on here for 14th place between these three drivers. Drogon all too happy to just watch and let it happen. But through they go through turn 8, and again Drogon hits that curb and loses a bit of time, but yeah, he's just going to be watching and waiting for these two to come together so he can sweep his way through and collect some more points. Of course, it's important for the constructors as well here. Tyr down in 12th, but the two McLarens doing decently, but Enchilada at the front of the field, 6 seconds ahead. So he's doing God's work for Sauber at the moment with Tyr that far down. The constructors well in the balance, I think, although Haas might be losing out here because Drogon down in 15th, of course, as Primeval somehow gets past both of them. Jonathan loses a couple positions, and Aces in P3. It will be P2 after penalties to RJ, but look at this. Look at who's only 3.5 behind. Lawrence D, the reigning champion. He's on 9-lap old hards, and he's doing a good job. He's keeping Extrek behind. Extrek just hasn't been able to make a move. All this time he's stayed behind this McLaren, and Lawrence could be looking to get himself on the podium here, perhaps. He's some 5 seconds behind RJ. He needs to catch 2 more to get himself on the podium, and well, he is still well in this title battle, as is Extrek just behind, who's going to be desperate to make this move. It is only worth 1 point as Lawrence gets a big slide, but it's a 2-point swing because they're both in this title battle. So it is very important. Every position, every point counts when a championship is this close, and Sumo looks like he's binned it in the final sector, unfortunately. So he drops to P12. Well, he's done better than the last time he raced in Portugal, that's for sure, where he retired after, I believe it was 7 laps, after 3 pit stops. or something like that. But he's into the pits, presumably for softs to go for the fastest lap of the race and get himself an extra point, which currently belongs to Tia in P11, and 18.8 is the fastest lap at the moment. And that, again, every point counts in championships this close. And, well, Tia could get a crucial point if he can hold on to that fastest lap. But Sumo, I think, with those fresh softs, is going to be the clear favourite to get that extra point. Although he won't take the extra point, actually, because it only works, you only get the point if you finish in the top 15. So he'll take it away from everyone else, but he won't get it himself. But that still could be important in the context of championship positions. Extrac, again, no chance to get past Lawrence, but Lawrence now only 2.8 behind Aces. Another penalty for Oliver. Anton has 3 seconds, Rick. At least the last time I checked. I'll just make sure. Yeah, still 3 seconds for Anton. Yeah, Jacko could definitely get him. Jacko currently sitting in P8. But he's going to be looking for a possible top 6 finish from this race. So we shall see. But I think top 7 is the best he can get, which is still pretty good given where he started this race, down in 14th. But Lawrence is catching once again. Look at this. It is 3.9 to RJ, and Lawrence will see that penalty. He can see 2 places above him. He'll know that RJ has that penalty, and he'll know that he's got an opportunity to land himself on the podium here. Drogon now with a penalty further back, but Lawrence, he's got to make this count, but a little bit of oversteer there is not going to help his cause. 4 laps to go. 3.9 seconds is the gap between himself and RJ, but he's got Extrek for company, and Extrek is going to want to get past, and the battle could cost them valuable time to RJ. I don't know what Extrek is going to be thinking here. He won't know that RJ's up ahead with a penalty. So will he be able to have the presence of mind to just allow Lawrence to catch up so he has a chance of P3? Oh, big slide though on the exit of turn 4. Huge moment for Extrek, and he's now 8/10 behind Lawrence. He needs to minimize those mistakes as now Anton has joined the party. Look at this, within a second is the Red Bull driver. And Extrek 9/10 behind Lawrence now. It's looking bad for the Norwegian. 1.03. Aces though getting past RJ. What's happened here? I think probably lag again. I would guess. Maybe? Is it lag? Is RJ losing the podium here? Did he make a mistake? I think RJ's made a mistake. I don't think that's lag. I think that's a legitimate mistake from the American. And now Lawrence is in with a great chance of a podium. Extrek is 1.5 seconds down the road. There's no way he'll get his way into this, especially with DRS for Lawrence. Lawrence had written this race off. He said this race was damage control. He said he'd be terrible in Portugal. And here he is, just a few laps away from a podium finish. Down towards turn 1 he goes. Doesn't make the move. Oh, a bit of a slide through turn 1, nearly a disaster for the defending champ, but he just about gets away with it. And look who's just up the road as well. Aces versus Kings is only 1.4 up the road. Lawrence could get P2 here even. Down the inside he goes off the American driver, and he's up to P3 on track, and Aces is just 1.2 seconds up the road, but he's going to fight tooth and nail to keep that podium. What's the ERS looking like for Aces? He's got 50% left. Lawrence with just about 20-30%. So there's the advantage for Aces on that front. Enchilada leads by 9 seconds. He is comfortable. He is going to be well in this race for the title. But these top 3 and Extrek, these top 4 in fact, because Extrek 2.1 behind RJ should be able to get that position for P4. These top 4, I think, are going to turn into our main championship protagonists after this race. Jacko's going to be there or thereabouts as well, but I think Tia and who was the other one? Tia and I do apologise. Oh, this is Tia and who was it? I don't even remember who the other one was now. Who else was in the battle? Anton, though, getting past Extrek now, up to P5, but he does have that time penalty, and another time penalty for RJ is going to cost him more positions here. He's going to drop to P6, perhaps P7 as it stands. Jacko's not close enough, but Mania is. Aces, Lawrence, Jack, Extract, Tier, Ench. Oh, of course. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we might lose Tier from the championship battle, but I think Jacko will still be just about in it. But he's going to have work to do in Silverstone. But these top top 4 drivers, Enchilada, Aces, Lawrence and Extarek, they're the ones to watch. They're the top 4 in this race at the moment as well after penalties. Tier, what's his penalties? He's got 3 seconds, so he should be able to keep P10 here, but he was already the one that was furthest behind in the championship battle in terms of points. So finishing last of the championship protagonists, I think will just about kick him out of the race into the last Grand Prix. But anyway, here we go, on to the final lap, and Lawrence is in DRS range of Aces for P2. Here we go, Aces got nothing left in the battery. How's he drained it all already? Lawrence to the outside and is passed. Lawrence into second place in this Grand Prix, and Aces will wonder how on earth this has happened. He's let one of his main championship rivals, the defending champion, through on the final lap, and Lawrence, those hard tyres have paid off. He's up to second place. Somehow Aces has lost out. He's still going to get a podium from this, but he's going to wonder how he's lost a 4-point swing to one of his main rivals. Enchiladadad is P1, and he, I think, thanks to that overtake, is going to take the championship lead going into the last race of the season. Jonathan with a penalty as well on the final lap, but what a flawless race it's been for this man, Enchiladadad. We've got to cut down to Extract though, because he's just behind RJ and Anton. He will get past both of them for P4, and he'll be in this title race as well, going down to the last race of the season. But where's Jacko going to be? That's the other big question. Enchiladadad comes round the final corner to win a flawless Portuguese Grand Prix. Lawrence, though, is going to come home in second place after all of that. A race he had written off, and he's on the podium. Ace is just behind him, but loses P2 on the final lap. Extarek, a solid 4th place for him. He'll still be in the title battle. Where's Jacko? P7 in the end. He clears RJ, but can't clear Antone. And Mania finishes in the top 5. Good result for him as well. Robsu comes across the line in 9th position. Tier round the final corner. He's going to be 10th, but I think he's going to be just about booted out of this title race now, going into the last race of the season. Alex G comes across the line in 11th place. Oliver G. Rapper on debut. Is he going to score any points? I think so. Yeah, Primeval's already finished a lap down. So Oliver will get points, at least 1 point on his debut. Drogon tries to go around the outside, then to the inside, but thinks against it and secures that position ahead of the Ferrari. But where's it going to be over the line? It's going to be 13th as Sumo jumps them both on penalties up to 12th place. Does Jonathan manage to jump anyone on pens? Yeah, I think he jumped Oliver up to 14th. But there we have it. Yeah, he did indeed. What a penultimate Grand Prix that was. Stick around, we will interview the top 3 after another fantastic race. Oof. Goodness gracious me. Absolutely crazy. What a Portuguese Grand Prix. I do hope this bodes, or this is a sign for how good the Tier 1 and Elite races are going to be as well later this week. But wow, you just cannot match this kind of championship battle. It's going to be 5 drivers in the mix going into the last round of the season. Now, I'm not looking forward to doing the permutations either for that final round. And the constructors is going to be in the balance as well, but that's crucial points that Lawrence got for McLaren by finishing second. But anyway, it's Enchilada who takes the win, and I believe the championship lead of Tier 2 heading into the last race of the season. Lawrence and Aces round out the podium. Aces will wonder how he finished P3 there and not second place. Lawrence from 10th on the grid. Extract to P4 as well. Solid drive from the Norwegian as he continues his time 5, Anton 6th, Jacko down in 7th, will lose the title lead, RJ down in 8th in the end, Robsu 9th, Tia 10th, and then a bunch of other drivers. I think Tia is going to be just about out of this title battle, but the Constructors, I believe, is still going to be just that. But let's get the drivers in for interviews, those top 3, and have a chat with them. Let me ping the top 3, see if we can get them in. We have our race winner in, just waiting for Lawrence and Aces. There is Lawrence. Just waiting on Aces versus Kings now. Still waiting on Aces, but I think I think he'll join in, so we'll just get started while we wait for him. Enchilada Dads, it is, I think, let me just check once again. This is your first ever APPF1 race victory, and I do believe as well, I haven't quite done the maths, but I think you are the championship leader heading into the last round of the season. What a race. It looked flawless from my end, but how was it for you?
Pretty good. Pretty random track to get my first win. I just felt quick for some reason. I did practice more this week than other weeks because it was near the end of the championship, but yeah, I expected to be up there in qualifying for a change. I thought I could battle for pole, and I was close enough. I could have probably maybe gotten it, but second was fine. And at the start of each stint, I've just felt a little bit quicker than everyone, but I think I couldn't handle the tire wear as much, so then RJ and Ace cut up on the soft at the end of the first stint, but RJ was lagging a bit. At one stage, he was like, it said he was 3 seconds behind me, and then I just suddenly see him like half a 10 behind me on the straight, and I wasn't expecting that. And I had a little bit of a wobble, and I think he hit into the back of me then, but I don't think he got any damage, so I think it was okay. And then on the mediums, well, RJ was ahead of me when we pit, and we came up to the back of Primeval, who defended quite hard, I'll say. He's entitled to do so, but it lost us a lot of time in the end, and thankfully I got through without any incident there. And at that stage I was just ahead and just had to not bin it to win, I guess.
Yeah, I think Primeval was trying to help Extract catch up, but at least that's what my view of it was.
It's fair enough. I'm not blaming him, I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, it was a brilliant battle in the first stint between you, RJ, and Aces. You streaked away from the cars behind very quickly and never really looked back. But yeah, there was some network issues with RJ in the first stint, but I think it sorted itself out later in the race. But anyway, did you do some tire practice in before this race? Because you top three and a couple others, I believe, were some of the only ones to start on the softs, but it seemed like it was the optimal strategy. So were you happy with soft medium, or were you sort of umming and ahhing between a different strategy? Because Lawrence did medium hard.
It was the default strategy, to be fair.
Okay.
So, like, it said it was a few seconds. Well, obviously you can't trust that, but I think it would have been similar for Spa if it didn't rain. For some reason, the softs are actually good, unlike other tracks, and same with the mediums. So I don't think that's why I saved a set. I did my second lap in qualifying on a used set just to have another one. So I thought it would be faster, and it probably was in the end.
Well, it certainly worked out with an 8 or 9 second victory margin in the end. Your first win in APPF1, and what a time to do it! Coming into the last round in Silverstone. I mean, the last time you raced in Silverstone in Tier 2, I believe it was your debut in the league. And you qualified well, and then the race didn't quite go to plan, but it seems like, at least from that race, I know it was a different game, but seems like you're pretty happy at Silverstone. So are you confident that you've got a chance to win this title now?
On the last game, Silverstone was probably in like my top 3 heavy tracks, but I'm not certain now because I haven't done it properly yet. But I will say there's a small chance that I won't be able to make the last race, unfortunately.
Oh no!
I know.
Okay, well, fingers crossed you can make it, because that would be horrible to lose you for the last round.
But, I know, it's awful timing.
Yeah, well, I wish you the best, because
I'll do everything I can to be.
Yeah, we're looking at a 5-driver title battle if everyone can make it. So yeah, big fingers crossed for you. Congratulations on your first ever win in the league, and good luck for next week if you can make it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our second place finisher. So I'm just gonna say a few things, Lawrence, before we get into this interview. I'm rubbish at Portugal. This is going to be a terrible race for me. I'm praying for rain, because if it's dry, I'm screwed. P2.
Yeah, the first one to lose, aren't I? Second place, the first one to lose. So, no, congratulations to Enchilada Dance for his first win. I think that's 9 different winners from 9 different races this season.
No, because Meliodas won 2, but it's 8 different winners. So.
Oh wow, even so, that's insane. Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations to Enchilada Dance. That was quite a bulletproof drive up front. So. Yeah, the race today was nothing like the practice run I'd done yesterday. The tyre wear seemed a lot kinder, and just in general had good pace. Was in a battle, I think, with Antone first half of the race, and I think it was Exterek as well on the softs. I think I lost a little bit of time there, but I don't think it was really pivotal to the outcome of the race. Yeah, but I didn't like Portugal at all, I must say. It was looking awful yesterday. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it worked out in the end. I mean, I expect you were probably expecting to be around where you qualified in 10th place, but obviously we know that your strength has always been in Tier 2 that you ramp up pace as the race goes on, but even I thought you were out of it when you put the hards on, because the hards looked awful for Primeval in the first stint. But you just seemed to come alive late in the stint, and by the end, I think you were the fastest man on track out of the ones who didn't pit for the softs at the end, so or right at the end. So, were you thinking to go on that strategy from the beginning, or was it a last minute change to go medium hard instead of apparently the default soft medium?
So going by yesterday, my plan today was to do a 2-stop.
Wow.
So I was originally going to pit around lap 10. I started on mediums. I was going to go on to halves to about lap 24 and then come in for mediums again. But I checked on my tyre wear on lap 8, and yeah, they were still in good nick. So I carried them on as far as I could to about end of lap 16, I think it was. Then came in and boxed for the hard tyres and then got them to the end. I knew the drivers that went past, like Aces, pitted a lot earlier than what I did, so I was kind of holding out that the mediums would just probably die off towards the end. Yeah, and thankfully had a lot more clear air in that second stint as well, so it just gave me that extra few, just made it a bit easier with the race pace.
Indeed. Well, you stand after this race on, I believe, 89 points. Just 3 points behind Enchilada, who I believe is leading the championship now, on 92. But, I mean, a 5-way title battle. You've been in a 4-way title battle coming to the last race before, so and you didn't manage to secure that one. You lost it to Jonathan in season 8. This time, do you think you can make it 3 titles for yourself and second time lucky with a big title battle at the end?
Let's see how it goes. I think anything can happen next week. I really hope Enchilada can make the race. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know how the standings is looking, but I think it'd be pretty rough on him to miss out on the championship. If he couldn't attend. But at the same time, I look back at my season a little bit as well and think probably shouldn't be where I should be. I had a DNF in Imola, and I think I had a couple of rough races mid-season. But like you said, everyone's just been so consistently inconsistent, as you put it. So, found a little bit of form towards the end of the season. We will see how it goes.
Indeed. Well, congratulations, Lawrence, on another podium, and good luck for next week in Silverstone.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Congratulations, Enchilada Dad, and congratulations to Aces on the podium too.
And talking of Aces, we will move over to him now. Aces, well, it's I said on Sunday after Elite Belgium, I said your story this season in all divisions that you're in has been, if races ended about 1 or 2 laps sooner, you'd be doing an awful lot better in both championships, and once again overtaken on the final lap. That must have stung.
Yeah, it weren't great. To be fair, I've got a bit of a sour taste in my mouth right now. First stint, it was cool. I was just chilling. I wasn't using the RS. RJ was lagging all over the shop.
Yeah.
And I just didn't trust going anywhere near him, which is shit. So I stopped a lap later, managed to catch him back up, overtook RJ, and then he sent it on me going down into turn 1, which pushed me off. I then got a legal overtake, so then I had to let him back past, which lost me time. So then I just thought I'll just manage this third place. I knew he had 3 seconds, but I didn't know whether he could get it removed or not. And then we go past his teammate. His teammate slows down, lets him pass, and then blocks me. So yeah, it's got a bit of a sour. I just wish people just let people race, like, you know. I know teammates like to help each other, but in a title fight, there's no need really. Just let them race in it. You either win on merit or you don't, or you come second on merit at the end of the day. But it's third place. It could be worse. Congratulations to Larcher Dad and Lawrence, but we move on, mate. We move on.
Well, indeed. I mean, it's still, you've kept yourself in this title battle. You're still very much in it. I make it that you're second in the championship going into the last race, just 1 point behind Enchilada Dad in Silverstone. I mean, how are you feeling for Silverstone? Because I know it can be it's usually a track that everyone enjoys, but you know, there's a select few people that really don't like it. For example, Rick, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he doesn't like Silverstone. How do you feel about the track and your chances of winning this title?
To be fair to you, I know it's changed a bit. I have done a few races around it, which weren't so bad, but to do the progress that I want to, I need to hammer that track this week, just so I know whatever happens on next week, I've done my best to what I can. So yeah, I just hope it's a clean race and people just let us race if we're fighting for the championship. It's one of them, innit? But you know, saying it and actually happening is two different things.
Oh, well, we shall see. It's going to be epic either way, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm sure everyone else, all of the other top five, are also going to be sweating it out for Silverstone next week, so you won't be alone. And it's going to be an incredible showdown. So good luck for Aces, and congrats on the podium today.
Cheers, mate. GG to the rest. But to be fair, out of all the calendar, this was the worst track, so I'll take P3.
Fair enough. Well, usually I find it's usually the worst tracks, or your worst tracks that you do very good on because there's just no pressure. So that can be a
Yeah, I
phenomenon
think
sometimes.
Lawrence had the right strategy doing medium hard. I was tempted to go medium hard, but I saw the two front runners were on softs, and I just didn't want to get a bad start and get
Yeah,
put behind. So I just thought I'll just play it safe, just stay on softs. I could have done hards, but I think I would have had to stop maybe a lap earlier to get the undercut on them, and then it might have been a bit dead at the end. But I
yeah.
don't know. It is what it is, bro, I guess.
Aces choosing to play it safe with the strategy. I've heard it all now, but
Oh, come on. Look at this. Look what's happened to me the last few weeks, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, fuck you know. To be fair, if it didn't what happened in Saudi, my own fucking mistake, I'll probably be a couple of points clear right now, but and maybe have a few points in the bag. But you know, we move on, we come back strong in it this week,
we
and we
do
see what
indeed.
happens.
Well, congratulations, Aces, and good luck
Cheers, mate.
again for next week. So there we have it. I will run you briefly through the championship standings provisionally. I imagine there's still some stewards things to sort out, but I don't think, other than RJ, I don't think many of the top runners were involved in many stewards reports. So we'll see. Maybe Jacko will gain a place or Tier, but the top five, I'm going to ignore Tier. I think he's just about out of it now. But top five are, I believe, Enchilada Dad on 92 points, Aces on 91 points, Lawrence on 89 points, Extrarec on 86 points, and Jacko also on 86 points. So I believe going into the last round, we have 5 drivers within 6 points. Unbelievable scenes. I've never seen anything like this, other than perhaps Tier 2 Season 8, where we had that 4-way battle, and last season of Tier 1 was good as well, but nothing quite like this. So, absolutely incredible stuff. I will see you next week to watch it all. I will be pinging the whole server to come and watch because I think it deserves it. But we will see you then. And my driver of the day for today... I mean, Enchilada, Lawrence, I think are the main contenders for it. I'm going to give it to Enchilada. I think he was flawless all race long. So there we have it. So thank you all ever so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for what is going to be an absolutely epic season finale. Do not miss it. Goodbye.